बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं हूँ सुमैरा खान। आप देख रहे हैं समा स्पेशल और समा स्पेशल आज का वाकई में बहुत स्पेशल है। आज आपसे मुलाकात करवाएंगे पाकिस्तान में रूस के सफ़ीर मिस्टर एल्बर्ट खोरेव, और जो कि एक जानी मानी शख्सियत है पाकिस्तान में। लोगों से इनका मिलना मिलाना बहुत रहता है। उर्दू के बहुत शौकीन हैं, मगर इस प्रोग्राम में हम उनसे अंग्रेज़ी में ही बातचीत करेंगे। मगर आने वाले वक्तों में हू नोज़ कि ये उर्दू भी बहुत खूबसूरत बोलना सीख जाएं जाने से पहले। तो सबसे पहले समा स्पेशल में वेलकम करेंगे मिस्टर एल्बर्ट खोरेव, रूस के सफ़ीर पाकिस्तान में। सर, अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू यू टू समा स्पेशल, एंड also I've heard that people love you in Pakistan and you have been meeting a lot of people these days. So what's your experience in Pakistan, first of all?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome all your audience and your TV channel in our embassy, and it's a very big pleasure for all of us to have you here. I've arrived almost 1 year ago, last December, and I feel myself very good, and I like the atmosphere. I like hospitality, warm souls of Pakistani people, and my colleagues here in your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in other different ministers and business community. We've achieved, to my opinion, we've achieved significant results as during this year, and we are encouraged to do even more. And the general trend in bilateral relations is rising, and I believe we would be able together achieve even more.
Excellency, that was exactly my next question going to be, that since you are here in Pakistan for more than 12 months and you just spoke about some significant developments as well. So in the light of recent developments, when we see Pakistan's and Russia's bilateral ties in specific, so what exactly are the areas? We have seen joint military drills, we have seen projects in gas pipeline, we are seeing more to come in future. So okay, can you highlight and specify those areas that Pakistan and Russia can go a long way if they join hands in bilateral ties?
Our first priority is, of course, related to trade and economic ties, and all our high-ranking officials, including Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Averchuk, Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, and Russian Senate Speaker Valentina Matvienko, their visits were devoted in a significant part to this issue, to developing trade and economic ties, to find new ways how to boost it, how to avoid and cancel the existing difficulties in our relationship. And I believe that they led a good ground for future work. In this row, I would like to mention as well the visit, the first ever visit Pakistani business delegation to Moscow early October, and holding the first ever Russian-Pakistan business forum in Moscow. And first ever in our new history, barter trade agreement was signed, and there were several new avenues like interbanking cooperation highlighted and agreed by both sides. To add to this, as you mentioned, military-to-military contacts and cooperation is also on rise, and it has been developing dynamically since 2014, actually, when a relevant agreement was signed between our two defense ministers. We appreciate annual participation in the Moscow Conference on International Security and the Military Technical Forum, AMI, from our Pakistani friends. We have established joint military terrorism exercises called Druzhba, or Friendship. And this October we had the 7th round of such exercises. Some Russian high-ranking military delegation visited Islamabad and Rawalpindi this October, and we are looking forward to continue all these avenues.
Excellency, there is another question that during the high-profile visit of Mr. Excellency Alexei Overchuk, he discussed some transactions of LNG and establishment of steel mills in Pakistan. So what do you think, how far it's going, and what should be the minimum time period to get all these things mature?
Yes, as was highlighted by Russian DPM, Overchuk, Russia stands ready to contribute to Pakistan's energy security by supplying LNG to Pakistan. Discussions of specific parameters is the prerogative of relevant ministries and agencies on both sides. We also see great opportunities in heavy industries, textiles, agriculture, machinery, fertilizer production, pharmaceutical. As far as metallurgy is concerned, the Pakistani side during this contact has indeed shown interest in developing its steel production capacity by reviving Pakistan's steel mills. And the experts from both countries are currently discussing this issue, and we hope in the near future we will have a delegation of Russian experts who would like to visit the current steel mills in Karachi, and to have an opportunity on the ground to see how and by which criteria it can be revitalized or modernized.
Excellency, there is another question that given the situation in the regional developments, we are all seeing major developments are happening in the region. And almost all the countries are striving, be it individual capacity or be it in bloc politics or bloc acquaintances. How do you see Pakistan's role in getting its space in the developments, or in the context of historical relationship of Pakistan and Russia? How do you see Pakistan's role in defining the major global developments?
First of all, I would like to stress that Russia and Pakistan have a very close or even similar position on the most range of regional and international issues, specifically related to stability and security situation. We've launched and developing different channels through different working groups established at the level of our deputy foreign ministers. For example, joint working group on combating international terrorism and other challenges to security, the consultative group on strategic stability, the dialogue on regional cooperation within the framework of SCO, or be it on Afghanistan. And we believe that Pakistan is already playing a very significant role as one of the active members of international society and what we recently call the global South society of countries.
And in terms of counter-terrorism and security situation, we are all seeing another situation developing in the region. How do you see Russia can help Pakistan in that factor to combat these challenges?
We are determined that we will continue our cooperation with Pakistan. What we have now within different UN agencies, especially related to counterterrorism and extremism, counter-drug, counter-narcotics activities, be it within other regional organizations like SCO, like OIC. Definitely we share the common views on the most of these problems and challenges.
And people in Pakistan, they are very much aware of the fact that security situation is linked with a stable economic situation. And recently we have seen a lot of bold measures taken by the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan and the incumbent government in terms of hardening the state. That include anti-drug policy, anti-hoarding policy, anti-smuggling policy to curb the mafia that is trying to inculcate illegal spectrum in Pakistan. And Pakistan is looking towards its regional partners with a keen interest. So can you highlight a few economic projects that are right now in place from the Russian side that you are in talks with Pakistan to help strengthen its economy, or go as a highlighted partner with Pakistan to overcome the challenge of economy right now?
Yes, we've already mentioned with you steel mills. We considered considering this project as a symbolic, because it was built by Soviet Union. It's a symbol of Soviet, now Russian, Pakistani cooperation in industrial sphere. And that is why it is very important from political point of view, and I would try my best to support this initiative and to bring this idea of renovation to the logic and practical end, to have a new one factory in Karachi. Another flagship project is a so-called Pakistan Pakstream gas pipeline, which aims to connect Karachi to Lahore, southern and northern parts of your country. In addition to providing Pakistani consumers with cheaper sources of energy, this project seeks to modernize Pakistan's existing energy infrastructure and develop its gas-reliant industries. We are now discussing pipeline project in the context of joint roadmap on developing your gas distribution and gas supplying system of Pakistan. And Russia's expert proposed its vision. It's this draft of roadmap. It will be discussed in details during the forthcoming IGC, Intergovernmental Commission, which is planned to be held next week in Moscow. We welcomed the interest of Pakistan to join North-South International Transport Corridor. And we welcomed that during Mr. Averchuk's visit, Pakistan signed the agreement and actually joined multimodal, so-called multimodal transport corridor, Belarus, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan. And Russia is aimed to help Pakistan to realize its potential due to its favorable geographical location.
And we are seeing momentum in that? It's going at fast pace, or we are still at...
Not so fast as we wanted to do, but it's slowly developing, and in this case it also depends on situation inside Afghanistan, and it is also depending on Pakistani-Afghan relations.
Yes.
Which we would,
how do you see that?
Which we would like to have positive. At this moment we have some concerns with regard to the current frankly speaking, difficult relations between both of your countries. I mean, Pakistan and Afghanistan. But
so other significant and big countries like you, we can expect them to play some role in diffusing the situation, tense situation.
We are trying to play such a role, and you know, a couple of weeks ago, our special representative, special presidential envoy
yes.
on Afghanistan, Mr. Kabulov, was visiting Islamabad. And soon after his visit here, he left for Afghanistan, and he also had a range of meetings with high-level Afghan authorities. And you also probably heard that our Secretary of Security Council of Russian Federation, Mr. Shoigu,
yes.
was also visiting recently Kabul. During these negotiations, of course, we tried to persuade actually both sides
mm-hmm.
to find some solutions, to find some way out from the current turbulence related to this TTP issue.
So what's your finding in that? Are we able to persuade that, or we still need some time to do that? Because now the regional connectivity depends on the ties of the two
Definitely.
countries.
It's obvious for everyone, and I believe that.
Because if you ask me, common people in Pakistan, they are eagerly waiting for Russian investment here. They are eagerly waiting for Russian people here to come here. But the whole context is depending upon the security situation, which is after many tries, Pakistani side is continuously warning the Afghan side not to let anyone use Afghan soil against its neighbors. So what's your...
I'm quite optimistic in this regard because everybody understands, including Afghan authorities, that to have prosperous economically stable situation in your country, you need to have good neighbor relations, good relations with all of your neighbors. Stability and economic development are interlinked with each other, and that is why I have a feeling that we will soon be able to boost this regional connectivity. Overall regional connectivity.
That's a good news we are hearing from you, and we'll be looking forward to it. And let's discuss Russia and Pakistan's people-to-people contact. I have some facts and figures with me that Russia is the largest country in the world and located in Eastern Europe and northern part of Asia. Russia with population of 144.2 million and Pakistan with a population of 235.8 million have huge potential to create people-to-people contact. And can you share some avenues of educational and cultural exchanges along with investment potential in Pakistan? And let me add into that yes, we are seeing in the recent past, we have seen high-profile exchanges from our government officials, from your government officials to Pakistan, and it's a very rosy picture for us that the what do we call it? The frequency of meeting is getting increased day by day. But we still see there is room to create exchanges from our people to the Russian people. And don't you think that we need to boost that corridor as well between the two people?
Agree. During the above mentioned visits, it was noted that educational, cultural relations, unfortunately, are a bit left behind the active and intensifying contacts in political and economic sphere.
Yes.
And during my tenure as ambassador, I'm going to prioritize enhancing our educational and cultural exchanges, because it is the best way to help our citizens to know each other. And one of our initiatives in this sphere is creating Russian language centers in Pakistan. There are some, for example, in Karachi or Lahore.
In Islamabad as well. In one of the universities.
In one of your universities,
Yes, exactly.
yes. But of course, there are not enough. We are also hopeful to be able to intensify our art exhibitions, exchanges, to launch some joint projects in science, in the sphere of cinema, theater exchanges. There are some ideas of arranging some film festivals, both in Pakistan and in Russia. And I'm determined to make it happen, and I see a lot of potential here.
And Excellency, let's discuss now multilateral forums as well. And I'll start with UN. In your opinion, what is United Nations' role right now? Because we are seeing a lot of discussion on UN as well, and I'll gradually start discussing it. So, in your opinion, what do you think? What are you seeing? Is this the role that UN is playing right now? It's influential, or it's succumbing to the Western pressures, or as the sort of opinion we see from the Russian officials? I would like to know what do you think about it?
Yeah, first of all, we still believe that UN should continue playing the central and coordinating role all over the world in all the main issues of international agenda. But as you also rightfully mentioned, that UN sometimes, and the number of these cases is getting more and more, cannot play this role of just neutral, not biased organization, because of this significant pressure by Western group of countries. And in this regard, we believe that UN should be reformed, and with the aim to adapt this organization to modern realities. And there are some attempts, for example, to redistribute the powers of such statutory bodies like Security Council in favor of the General Assembly. And of course, UNSC should be also reformed, but the objective of such a reform should be making the Council more representative without compromising its efficiency and effectiveness.
Yes, and when we see the speech of the respected Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov at UNGA, he gave examples of some disregarded UN resolutions. So, what do you think? Why he mentioned all those historical references to the examples of those resolutions, and what exactly should be implemented to ensure compliance of those resolutions of UNSC, the Security Council?
The reason quite obvious, and I would repeat that the West has created a system of bloc foreign policy within the platform by adopting decisions tailored to the goals and objectives of a group of certain states. In this context, Russia believes that by expanding the representation of developing countries from Asia, Africa, and Latin America, the UN Security Council can improve its efficiency and responsiveness, thus strengthening the UN's central coordinating role in global affairs and shaping a truly equitable multipolar world order.
And once again, I'll refer to the Lavrov's speech at UNGA. He discussed humanitarian crisis as well, specifically in Palestine. What do you think, how Russia could play its positive role in the betterment of situation in Palestine, Gaza? Right now, we are seeing multiple thousands of killings in there. We heard news of ceasefire as well, but the killings on ground are still carrying. So what's Russia's role in that?
We are calling for an immediate and complete ceasefire in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict zone, which has already expanded to the territories of Lebanon and Syria. The unhindered delivery of humanitarian assistance to the civilian population, and the creation of conditions for the resumption of the peace process. There is no doubt that the Israel-Palestinian conflict, which continues to claim the lives of thousands of innocent Palestinians in Gaza, must end. And we urge all parties to exercise restraint and prevent further uncontrolled spirals of violence. We adhere strictly to the provisions of the core UN Security Council and General Assembly resolutions on both the Palestinian issue and the status of the occupied territories in Lebanon and Syria. And in this regard, I would like to reiterate that we support the fulfillment of the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinians to establish their own independent state of Palestine within the 1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as its capital, living side by side in peace and security with Israel, as well as the granting of Palestine the status of a full member of the United Nations.
Excellency, also Pakistan recently held a huge event of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Pakistan, and we saw a very star-shining representation of Russia in SCO. How did you feel that, what was the exact outcome of SCO, and was Pakistan able to show it to the world that Pakistan was able to hold such mega event in Pakistan?
Exactly. That was Afghanistan did successfully, and I would like to congratulate your country and your government with this historical event. It is really remarkable. For the first time in its history, Pakistan hosted the event of such a level and gathered together more than 10 heads of governments of regional states. As you know, now is Russians' turn to host these heads of governments council
in
2025. In 2025, and it will be very difficult for us to arrange it better than it was arranged this year in Islamabad.
That's a compliment for me as a Pakistani, but obviously we'll be looking forward for an invitation from you to the Pakistani journalists as well to cover this huge event in Moscow, and we are looking forward to it. Another question related to the multilateral forums. Pakistan is eager to see its seat at BRICS. And I remember when the Excellency Overchuk was visiting Islamabad, it was my question from him that Pakistan is eager to have its seat at BRICS. So what is Russia's support? What exactly we can look forward to Russia to have its support in bringing Pakistan as member of BRICS? So what's your take on that?
BRICS is another not organization, formally speaking, but the group of countries. Another example in one row with SEO, which can prove how the countries, truly independent countries, independent from Western pressure, can cooperate with each other for the benefits of the national interests and for the interests of the people. And as you know, this year Russia was chairing the BRICS, and this Kazan summit, the summit in the capital of our Tatarstan region, the city of Kazan, was quite a success, and Russia welcomed, and we are welcoming the interest of Pakistan to join this group. But unfortunately, one of the members, very well known for you, was against invitation of Pakistan to that summit, and because of the procedures, if one is objecting, it's not a consensus, and that is why it wasn't become true for your country this time. But we believe that very soon it can be possible for your country to join.
That's a very comprehensive response to my question about BRICS. Excellency, there is another question about NATO. Let's discuss its role as well, because we see Russia speaking time and again about NATO's increasing role in the region, its impact in the region, its implication in the region. So what is your view? Does Russia think that there should be alternative to NATO's presence in the region, or what exactly is going on in Russia's mind? If I ask you about NATO's role.
Thank you for this question. I think that Russia's approach to the NATO is very well known, but nevertheless, I would like to stress that the former Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, all these countries have suffered from the brutality of a so-called defensive alliance, as NATO likes to call itself. Today, we see the growing militarization of the Asia-Pacific region. The US-led Quad and AUKUS blocks contribute to the global instability. And frankly speaking, that are the evidences that the entire system of Euro-Atlantic security is crumbling before our eyes. And Russian President Putin made it clear during his speech in June this year. This system must be rebuilt. And to achieve this, we've launched an initiative to create an inclusive architecture of equal and indivisible security in Eurasia, open to all states and organizations of our common continent, which are ready to cooperate in the search for universally acceptable solutions, using the independence and natural competitive advantages of the united Eurasian space. And that Russian proposal was in principle supported by Chinese side, and as it aligns with the basic principles of the Chinese Global Security Initiative. And it is crucial to recognize that the future security architecture should be open to all Eurasian countries that wish to participate in its creation. And for all, it includes European, Asian, and even NATO countries as well.
Excellency, now let's discuss the most talked about Russia-Ukraine. Why it started, how it started, and when we are looking towards an end to Russia-Ukraine conflict right now?
It started actually not even in 2022. It started much more earlier in 2014, actually, when illegitimate change of power took place in Ukraine. But nevertheless, Russia took a note of these changes and communicated and cooperated with that time President Poroshenko and later on President Zelensky to try to find a solution. And you know very well this Minsk agreement of 2015 was a remarkable work was done, and this agreement was supported by UN Security Council special resolution. Nevertheless, the escalation of the situation in Ukraine, especially in the eastern and southeastern regions of Ukraine, was rising and rising again, and we could not tolerate anymore the sufferings which felt by ethnically Russian community in Ukraine, in Donbass, Luhansk region, and so on and so forth. And the final attempt, I think, was December 2021 Russian proposal to the NATO and the United States sides. Actually, we proposed two draft treaties, one agreement on measures to ensure and security of the Russian Federation and member states of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which included several provisions, no further enlargement of the alliance, including in particular to Ukraine, non-deploying forces or weapons in countries that joined the alliance after May 1997, and some others. And the second document, titled Treaty between the USA and the Russian Federation on Security Guarantees, and one of the items was a requirement that the United States undertake to prevent further NATO enlargement. And there were also some limitations and regulations on deployment of different missiles in Europe. Yes. Unfortunately, that was also left without a constructive answer. And after all, that time President Zelensky, when he also started to threaten that Ukraine would probably soon have nuclear missiles, will gain nuclear missiles, which meant for us direct and very sharp and strong threat to our national security interest.
Recently, we saw Russian President Putin drawing a very clear red line that if the long-range missiles are deployed by Ukraine with the help of Western countries' support, so we are going to take some drastic measures. So can you just highlight how exactly Russia thinks that they should be responding to this sort of crossing of their red line, and how they would ensure the security and integrity of not just national, but the global framework as well?
In my personal opinion, the red line has been already crossed. And there, I mean, United States, Great Britain allowed Ukrainian authorities to use their tactical ballistic missiles, ATACMS, and Storm Shadow missiles. And that is first, number one. Maybe we will have not red line ahead of us, but maybe purple line, which is not crossed. But the red one is already crossed, in my view. And recently, a week ago, these ATACMS and Storm Shadows missiles were launched against Russia's Bryansk and Kursk regions. Secondly, Russia's already shown its reaction. And our response to these attacks has been very restrained and well calculated. And we used the latest intermediate range missile systems with a non-nuclear hypersonic ballistic missile called Oreshnik. Yes, and these missiles, as our president recently announced, can reach a speed of 3 kilometers per second. Can you imagine? Existing US, European and other air defense systems and missile defense systems cannot intercept these missiles. That's one. The second, Russian leadership has updated Russia's nuclear doctrine, which now explicitly states that the aggression by a non-nuclear state supported by a nuclear state can trigger a nuclear response from the Russian side. But I would like to stress...
It is regarding that basic fundamental right of a nuclear state to...
That's regarding the right of Russia to use our weapons against the military facilities of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our facilities. And in case of an escalation of aggressive actions, we will respond decisively and in a mirror-like manner. But I would like to stress the defensive, but not offensive, character of such measure.
And this was exactly my next question to you, that how do you see, what's the potential for escalation, and how do you see the diplomatic avenues getting successful in de-escalating the matter? What's the potential for both?
Only one way for de-escalation of this conflict. NATO, United States, and all other Western countries who are actually become decision makers in Ukraine, they should realize, they should understand that by sending more and more weapons, by diversifying their weapons, they are not contributing to the end of the conflict. They are only fuel it. And they should realize that, first of all, that the only way is a negotiations. And they should, secondly, encourage the Ukrainian clients to sit down to the negotiation table.
I would go towards another statement of Russian President Putin. He remarks, in his statement, he emphasized the historical unity of Russians, Ukrainians, and Belarusians as descendants of ancient Rus, and he mentioned that the wall between Russia and Ukraine is a great common misfortune and tragedy. What step does Russia believe should be taken to bridge this divide and foster better relations with Ukraine in the future? What do you think about it with regards to the remarks of President Putin?
I would like to say that, first of all, Russia has never considered the Ukrainian people as our enemies. And on the contrary, our country is a home to over 1 million Ukrainians right now who live and work in Russia. And without any fear of persecution for speaking the Ukrainian language. The same must be guaranteed for the Russian-speaking population of Ukraine.
Okay, and with the statement, another written statement of President Putin, I think he wrote an article in July 2021, where he said this categorically, that we are not anti-Ukraine, but it's up to the citizens of Ukraine. So that is another reference of Mr. Putin. But I'll conclude my interview with Excellency Russian Ambassador to Pakistan with last question, that Pakistan and Russia, what's the potential of defense cooperation?
Defense? Cooperation. I believe, first of all, we have a very positive current development in our defense cooperation. I mentioned the visit of some high-ranking Russian military people, generals, including Deputy Defense Minister Mr. Fomin, to Islamabad when he discussed the future directions and dimensions of this cooperation. We had a Deputy Chief of Staff of the Russian Army, General Istrakov, who also visited Rawalpindi and had very fruitful communication with his Pakistani counterparts.
And in recent past, we saw Russian naval fleet as well participating in naval exercises that Pakistan hold bilaterally, Aman exercise, the peace exercise.
Thank you very much. Ideas, military exhibition, yes, that's another example.
Pakistan can be considered a good market for defense exports for Russia?
I think so.
Or we are discussing that?
I think so, yes. Yes, that would be a good market for us as well. Yeah.
Excellency, thank you very much for your time. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका.
शुक्रिया. मुझे हम बहुत खुशी है फिर मिलेंगे.
हमारे साथ मौजूद थे रूसी सफ़ीर बराए पाकिस्तान एक्सेलेंसी मिस्टर एल्बर्ट खोरेव. उनके वक्त का बहुत शुक्रिया और मेरा ख्याल है कि माजी करीब में भी और मुस्तकबिल करीब में भी रूसी सफ़ीर के साथ इतनी डिटेल डिस्कशन समा टीवी के अलावा शायद किसी और स्क्रीन पर आपने ना देखी हो. बहुत खुलकर बातें की उन्होंने हर तरह के मौजू के ऊपर. पाकिस्तान और रूस के माबैन ख़ास तौर पे उन्होंने तिजारती रवाबित, कल्चरल रवाबित और पाकिस्तान और रशिया के अवाम को करीब लाने वाले तमाम इक़दामात पर भी बात की. इसी के साथ आपसे इजाज़त चाहते हैं. आने वाले समा स्पेशल में किसी और दिलचस्प या किसी और ख़ास जगह से किसी ख़ास मेहमान के साथ आपकी मुलाकात करवाएंगे. तब तक के लिए इजाज़त दीजिए. अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.